The High Court of the Gambia ruled on Friday in favor of comedian Alagie, commonly known as Alagie Borra, in a lawsuit against the Inspector General of Police IGP and the Attorney General. Borra, a co-host of the Kerfatu Badi Yakacha, was detained by police for 7 days without any formal charges being brought against him. On October 16, 2023, Borra and his lawyers filed an originating summons to the High Court of the Gambia, seeking to have the court to declare his detention unconstitutional and demand compensation from the IGP and the Attorney General. Borra argued that his detention from October 4, 2023 to October 10, 2023 without being presented before a court of law was unlawful and violated his fundamental rights as protected by the 1997 Constitution. In delivering his judgment, Honorable Justice Ibrahim Ajeta of the High Court of the Gambia declared that Borra's detention was unlawful and unconstitutional. Justice Jeta said the IGP and his officers had no justifiable reason to detain Borra beyond 72 hours. Honorable Justice Jeta ordered the IGP to refrain from arbitrarily arresting and detaining Borra without just cause. He also awarded Borra $500,000 in compensation from the IGP. In addition to the financial award, Justice Jeta also ordered the IGP to hand over Borra's iPhone 13 Pro Max to him. Speaking to the media shortly after the judgment, Borra described it as a win for all Gambians. He urged Gambians to follow due process whenever their rights are violated by law enforcement agencies.
Definitely, I will say big thanks to LS Kamara and Khadija Jallo for the effort that they have done for me. This is what we call democracy, and this is what we call rule of law, and this is what we call fundamental human right. Many people are saying the judgment is in my favor. I think this is a history in making. Not only Borra, but many Gambians will know their right. When you feel your rights are violated and you are intimidated, you have right to sue people. You can be sued and you can sue people to court. So that's what I did. Obviously, when this thing came about, people were saying, "Hope Borra is not mad to sue these people to court because ignorant of the law, no excuse." That's what the law says. But there's nobody in this country that is above the law. Equality before the law, that's what we call the supremacy of the law. I'm not a law expert, or I call myself a constitutional expert, but at least I try to know a little bit of my right, both constitutional right and my fundamental human right. Like when things like this happens, I could be able to face the right people to show me the right channel, and I think that's what has really existed today. So I will say not only Borra, if you are a Gambian and you feel your rights have been violated and you are intimidated, what Borra did, you should do the same thing. There is nobody above the law. The law is here for everybody. Equality before the law. The law that deal with me during my intention, I follow the same channel to sue these people to court. So I don't think this is witch hunting or anything. I feel, my rights are violated and I'm intimidated, several. I've been going, reporting every now and then, spending money, all those damages. So definitely I have to claim for damages and I have to claim for compensation. And this is a history in making. I'm urging every Gambian, if you feel your rights are violated and you are intimidated, do not put the law into your hand. Nobody is given a license to put the law into your hand or to misbehave. The only thing you should do, follow the due process of the law or the due course of the law. You follow the right channel, sue the people to court. The law that called me to come for questioning and answering or whatever you call it, I follow the same procedure.
Meanwhile, Counsel Lamin S. Kamara, who represented Alagie Borra in the case, says the landmark judgment is significant and a lesson to the law enforcement agencies in dealing with suspects.
Having me, this is a very significant judgment, and it has, like you said, it has set a very significant precedent in the annals of the jurisprudence of the Gambia, on the lines of the interpretation of Section 19 of the Constitution with respect to upholding and complying with the fundamental rights and liberties of individuals upon arrest. If you listen to the tenor of the judgment, the judge has laid down in detail the rules and procedure of dealing with suspects when they are arrested up to the time they are released or charged or released on bail. So I think this is a lesson for every law enforcement officer in this country to start complying with the provisions of the law and not trying, in the words of the court, taking the law into your own hands and subjecting the detention and arrest of suspects to the whims and caprices of individuals in whose custody they are. This is a very good landmark judgment, and we thank the court for that.
In continuing his landmark judgment, Honorable Justice Jeta said the police are duty-bound and under an obligation to protect the fundamental rights of every person in the Gambia. Honorable Justice Jeta said no person's rights should be violated with impunity, and it is totally unacceptable in a democratic society like the Gambia. He further said that the Inspector General of Police and his cohort cannot and should not arrest and detain people at his whims and caprices indiscriminately, and it is totally wrong for the Inspector General of Police and his officers to arrogate power that they do not have under the law. Honorable Justice Jeda asserted that it must not be forgotten that the new Gambia, that prides itself on democratic tenets, liberty, integrity, and dignity, cannot be acting unlawfully. Reporting for Kerfatu, I am Landin Cisse.